I don't know if 10 wins will make it to the playoffs. It might. 11 wins probably will. Certainly will. So they'd have to go 4-3 or 5-2 down the stretch. And I mean, could they do it with Mac Jones? I think they could. Maybe. Could they do it with Brock Purdy? Maybe. I guess we're going to find out. But if they don't, if they lose against the Cardinals because Brock Purdy plays like he did against the Jaguars, this effort to prove that they were right to sign this contract could get in the way of their playoff aspirations, which I think would be incredible. Sometimes you have to prioritize winning, and what the Niners are prioritizing is their reputation. I don't know. Good luck.
Well, it's become kind of more of a political football than it has been an actual football from a pigskin perspective. So now, they've got some work to do. They need a win to basically placate themselves and to silence the critics in the media and the fans and things of that nature. That's, as John Madden would say, that's the best deodorant that you have. It can mask a lot of stink with a win. And that's what the Niners are hoping for this Sunday.
Well, the timing is great. They're facing the Cardinals. The Cardinals are banged up. And not only is Brock coming back, but Ricky Pearsall is coming back. I asked Kyle Shanahan about Ricky last week, and he's like, it's just the darndest thing. It's been 6 weeks. He can't practice at all. He just can't hit his GPS numbers, whatever that means. From my perspective, he was running very fast on the sideline. And then in the locker room, he was shooting jumpers. He looked like he was pretty good to go. And then all of a sudden, it's the strangest thing. He's good to go, and he's going to play this week too. So that should be a big boost for Brock Purdy. Not only will he have Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, but he might have like a deep game. Coincidence?
If you were a conspiracy theorist, you would have a field day with how all this is orchestrated, who's pulling the strings on this deal. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of reeks, it just smells, I don't know, but it is what it is. So it's beyond our perspective. It's beyond, we can comment all we want. Brock is the one who's going to play. Pearsall may be out there and play, and then Kyle's the one orchestrating the whole thing.
Okay, so here's my question. They're feeling very ambitious this week. Brock's going to play. He just needs to have 3 aggressive starts, but he was limited in practice. So it seems to me that the Niners have given themselves a little wiggle room. At the end of the week, they could say, you know what? We wanted him to play. We thought he could play. We watched him in practice, and we didn't want to go easy on him because we saw what happened last time. You know what? He's just not ready. Do you think there's a possibility that they balk at the last minute, or do you think they're all full speed ahead?
Well, according to reports, Brock had a limited practice yesterday. Right. You were probably down there in Santa Clara, but I don't know how much of the practice you really saw or they allowed the media to view. But the thing about it is, previously, Kyle has said that he needs to have, Brock needs to have 3 game speed practices for Kyle to believe the guy's ready to play the game. Now, from that perspective, if you had a limited practice yesterday, how can you tell me that that counts as a game speed practice if it's limited? What does limited mean and what does game speed mean in terms of how Kyle wants to define it? So once again, he's the guy pulling the strings and he's orchestrating this whole thing so he can justify it and cut it up and splice it any way he wants to get the kind of end result that he wants.
I asked Kyle yesterday at his press conference, I said, you guys were confident that he was ready to go for week 4. Turns out he wasn't. Now you're confident that he's ready to go this week. Why are you confident that you're right this time? And he didn't give me a snarky answer. He said, well, we've waited a lot longer this time, and we're really waiting for Brock's okay, which, I don't know, does that imply that they rushed Brock out without him being 100% eager to go out? I guess that kind of implies, he didn't say that, but that was his answer. What do you think of that?
He's going to skirt around the issue, and he's trying to frame it so that he can, placate everybody's wishes and aspirations and hopes. And until the game is played, you're not going to have a real answer. regardless of what he says, regardless of what Brock says, regardless of what Max says, until Brock trots out there on Sunday and gets under center in the gun or whatever, no one's going to have a real answer as to how Brock is going to play until he is on the field in May. I'm sorry, but he's going to have to play. Now, if he can, he will. If he can't, then Kyle shouldn't put him out there. So he's got 2 more days of practice where he can have a quote unquote game speed practice to see if Brock is up to it.
What I don't understand, I mean, Kyle's already said that Brock's not going to be 100% healthy again this season. Got it. You've also kind of given an acknowledgement at the trade deadline that you're not really expecting to go all the way this year or even pushing to go all the way this year. You're really realistic about what's happening because all the injuries and maybe next year's a better year. So what is the point of playing Brock Purdy at less than 100% health if he's your franchise quarterback and he could re-injure it? And this season isn't really the season that you're going to go for it. It seems like, again, you're just trying to win a narrative battle.
Well, yeah, Kyle's waffled so much on this subject and he's think about all of the focus and the energy he's wasted on this debate, discussion, or whatever, when he could be focusing on game preparation, game plan, utilizing the healthy players that he has, putting them in the best situation to go forward from there. And so he's detracted himself from the focus that should be on the game of football by getting involved in this, discussion, this debate about the health and the status of Brock Purdy. But go back to day one, Kyle really has the one who initiated and cultivated this whole debate and discussion. So it falls back on his shoulders in terms of how he has, mangled the whole process.
I don't know if Kyle's thought this through, but if it weren't for Mac Jones playing so well and winning these games, the conversation around Kyle would be the fact that he got another quarterback hurt and he brought him back too soon yet again. And that's not what we're talking about because they're 6-4 and Mac Jones saved his butt. But now Brock's back. And if Brock plays again and he looks like he did against Jacksonville, either in this game or upcoming games, and he injures the toe again, then I feel like that's going to be what we talk about with Kyle Shanahan. And I don't know. I think he might be in a lot of maybe trouble's not the right word, but he's going to face a lot of criticism for that. It's risky.
Well, the other thing about it is, forget the media and everything. What about the players in the locker room? He still owes it to them to put the best product forward. It's like, sometimes your players know who should be playing and who should not be playing. They know who's playing well and they know who's not playing well. And so sometimes your opinion as a coach or an administrator of an organization is different than how the players perceive their peers, because when it comes down to winning the ball game, the players are going to want the best players on the field who may not necessarily be their best friends or whatever, but they want to win. That's the priority. So personalities aside, the bottom line is to put the best product on the field, and the players are not going to cheat and lie to themselves at the risk of not winning the ball game.